Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to the bank to open a bank account, and hopefully the day hasn't started well. I already left all my documents at home. Anyway, and this is like one of the last things in a whole series of processes that you have to do when you're moving to Mauritius, or any country for that matter, that you might not be aware of all of them. So I'm going to go through some of the processes that I've been through in the last 7 months to be able to live here. So in order to actually open a bank account, you need proof of residence, which normally would require a long-term lease. You're not really going to sign a long-term lease unless you've got a permit. Well, you also need a permit to open a bank account. The permit for me took about 3.5 months, a little over the 90 days. I did have to go and renew my visa, my tourist visa, twice, which you have to go in person to Port Louis. It's not too much of a pain, they're quite efficient, especially if you have already applied for your occupation permit. So once you've got your occupation permit, which there's always one more document, that document's not quite good enough, and I actually had to contact my university to get a transcript of my degree, which I obtained in the year 2000. Yeah, 25 years ago at that point. But good on the university, they actually did provide it. So yeah, there's always a few unexpected things. I must say, if you're buying like a property or something, generally other people are going to sort out all this for you. You now have an occupation permit. You can actually start thinking about putting down roots. You actually get to stay here, because up until that point you could have to leave. And, when your visa runs out, mine ran out on like the 10th of February. I eventually picked up my permit on the 20th of January, 18th of January. So it was like, up to that point, you don't really want to start making close friends. You can't get a long-term lease. You don't want to buy furniture. You don't want to buy a car. You don't know where you're going to be. So yeah, I'll show you a bit of the beautiful beach while I'm talking to you. Oh, there's some guys heading out on a boat. Awesome. Anyway, once you've got the permit, you now can secure yourself a long-term lease, which means finding yourself somewhere to stay. Yeah, also can be a bit of a nightmare. Then I found a great place to stay. You guys probably saw that on my video. I needed a 1-year lease. So my landlady, and she's very, very sweet, nothing was happening, so I was like, okay, I'll just do it myself, sign it, send it to her. Okay, no, she's going to print it. Then there were like numerous public holidays, and you get to a point where like you don't want to kind of keep sending a WhatsApp every day going, hi, can I please have my lease so that I can go to my bank, because at the end of the month they need the rent paid, but you don't have a bank account yet, and you've just started a new job, because this is what happens when you get an occupation permit. So you're hectic busy now as well, and you've just moved. Anyway, I finally got the long-term lease from her, but that's not the only document you need, because you also need a utility bill from them, and then you also need their ID card. I've cut all the grass. It looks absolutely epic. And these guys are having a yoga class or something. I don't know, it's probably not yoga. Okay, so you've got all the documents from your landlady. Then you're also going to need your occupation permit, tax number. This one can also be a bit tricky if you've kind of been a dependent of your husband. Anyway, I've got an old one that I dutifully paid tax way back for many, many years, so hopefully that will be okay. So we'll find out later if there's more paperwork needed at the back, obviously the passport and everything, which I completely forgot at home and had to go back and fetch. Yeah, I'm sure there will be more documents. There's always more documents. In the middle of all of this as well, while you're getting all this paperwork and sorting out that part of your life, you're also trying to establish a new life. I mean, for me in particular, my whole life changed, but I assume for anybody, if you're moving to a new country, your life has changed. So you're trying to establish yourself and figure out what your new routines are going to be, where you're going to be doing your shopping, all that sort of thing. How's your life going to work now? What foods are there, everything. It's very, very stressful. Yeah, but if there's one thing I would say for moving to Mauritius, one thing you must remember is just go with the flow. Like, don't fight the system. Don't get angry. It's not going to help. Things will happen. Just breathe. Get your next document, and make sure that you plan. If you're coming here, it's going to be at least 6 months. Like, before you are even in a position where you can start thinking about your new life, set aside 6 months for all the paperwork. It's like this in any country. That is just what it is. But you're excited to get started. But no, don't confuse your head. Set aside 6 months before you can even start living. And I'm so excited because I'm almost at that point. There's just a few extra things to do after this bank account, because the bank account is pivotal for other things like the tax. So yeah, things are kind of circular, and you've got to depend on one thing to come through for the next things to be able to even start. Wow, look at that beach. And in the end, it's completely worth it, obviously, at Mauritius, because it is safe. I never lose sight of the fact that I can walk here completely and utterly safe. Yeah, there's great food. There is that laid-back lifestyle. You've got these wonderful pockets of nature. Mostly the people are amazing. I mean, 99% of the people are really, really some of the best people you'll ever meet in your life. Starting a new life, everybody keeps saying to me, you know, why are you walking and taking buses? You should just get a car or a scooter or something. And yeah, you can. My thing is, you know, as you get older, it's important to try and look after your health more, and walking is a great form of exercise. And if I got a scooter, I would just take my scooter to work and to the shops and everything. You'd be lazy. I know some people aren't. I get you guys, but I don't have that kind of discipline. I would be lazy. So I like to walk. I must say, one thing in Mauritius that is quite difficult is the lack of Uber. And now I know that it's a sensitive topic because the government protects the taxi industry, but if you look at the spillover effect of that, it means that tourists, they won't take the expensive taxis to get out of their hotel environments and go spread their money around to local restaurants and things. If the taxis were cheaper like Uber is, tourist money would easier go everywhere else. Plus, on the local front, it's too expensive to take a taxi. Plus, buses are kind of unreliable. I find them absolutely amazing. I mean, they exist, for one, which is more than you can say for some places. So that is great. With the Mauritian buses, you will get somewhere. And they're very, very cheap. But anyway, I digress. So for the local population, it's too expensive to take a taxi, and the buses are unreliable. So everybody now has to be buying a car, which means there's more cars on the road. Whereas if you just had Uber, all of these problems go away. But you know what, moving countries is not actually the hard part. It's rebuilding all your systems and your life around moving to a new country that's the hard part. And once you get through all of that, you're kind of in limbo. I don't know if people can really understand, you know, people who've lived in the same place for 5-10 years. You forget what it's like to not have your system. I don't know if any of you can relate to me. It's like people invite you places and do things like you're all stable and settled and everything, and you feel like I'm not ready to do that. Yeah, you do really feel like sometimes you're just fighting paperwork the whole time. But there does come a point, I must tell you, where you feel like you're getting towards the end. Like now, I've just got the bank, the tax, and insurance. Because at the moment I've got a health insurance that's an international plan. It's a little bit expensive, and I do believe that in Mauritius you can get local plans that are a bit more affordable, but obviously you can't do that without a bank account, which you can't do without a permit, which you can't do without a long-term lease. You get the point. 6 months, guys. Plan for at least 6 months of complete instability before your life can actually start. There's not a lot of deliveries in Mauritius. It's another thing that you might be used to using depending on where you're coming from. I certainly was. Spending 3 years in Asia, you just you order something, it's delivered by a guy on a motorbike in like 5 minutes. But here there's not so much. I did find some. I'm actually going to make a video for you guys of all the delivery options. Oh, and by the way, let me know what else you want me to talk about. I've learned quite a lot of stuff now, so if you're thinking of moving here, I can probably help with quite a few things. I do mostly document. I write down or I chat to my AI about the whole process and everything. So I've got these things written down. Let me know what's your main concerns. And yeah, this has been a bit of a life update, how things are going kind of video, and just to let you know what to expect when you move to Mauritius, or pretty much any country actually. You're going to expect the same thing. I have filmed a lot of exciting stuff. I'm busy doing a series on like hotel day passes that you can do in Mauritius and seeing how worth it they are. That's kind of cool. I just haven't had much time for editing because paperwork and a new job and stuff. Yeah, I was actually thinking of getting like an intern, and if you know anyone who wants to learn about social media and marketing and YouTubing and taking videos and editing, I need someone to help me with some editing. Send me an email. My email address is below. Alright, I think the MCB is this way. I quickly printed out my lease and my thing from my landlady because it's actually on WhatsApp, and I thought, oh, they're probably gonna want to see it in print. Hopefully they don't want an original because she WhatsApped it to me. Anyway, let's go see. What's actually quite impressive is the lady just phoned me. It's about 20 to 2. She phoned me to confirm if I'm coming for my appointment at 2. That's pretty cool. And I actually got an SMS a while ago to confirm my appointment date. And I've got a QR code, so I don't have to wait in queue or something. Wow, very sweet, really, really nice. I don't have a bank account yet. I was kind of secretly hoping, but also I figured as much. Basically, she verified all my documents. She actually could find it on the system, so that's a plus. And then she verified all my documents. My lease, she said, is a bit sketchy looking for an original, so I'll try and get the landlady to take a better copy. Yeah. And then she'll submit it for what did they call it? Something that kind of means like vetting process or something. And it can take up to 2 weeks. Even 2 or 3 weeks, she said. So just hoping I have a bank account by the end of the month to put my salary in. But if I don't, we go with the flow. That's just what you have to do. And all in all, at the bank, it took probably about 25 minutes. It was pretty efficient. Food court. Wow. You forget sometimes that La Croisette is actually quite impressive. They've got such adorable souvenirs. I can't decide between this little guy. The Dodo drinking room. That's what happened. We've also got great Mauritius t-shirts. The classics. Not very well presented, but I'm sure there are some buses that go from here that end up at Montreal or Troll Beach area. But I know there's a whole bunch more that go down the main coastal road. So I'm rather just going to walk down there. But along my way, it's Burger King. I'm a bit hungry and there's no fast food in my area, so I'm going to treat myself. I mean, I did all that paperwork and stuff, like, stressful. Burger King, because you're worth it. Nah, that's not right. What is this saying slogan? I suppose we'll just cross through the flowers. There's your Burger King. Wow, that took like no time at all to arrive. Hot, very hot, nice. And their milkshakes are epic. I mean, look at that, it's like so thick. And of course I bought the little dodo. Oh, it's really nice. So you can join the other guys in the Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, South Africa. The elephant from Thailand got lost, and the beer bottle top I still need to attach to something from Vietnam. I must say that took me a long time to put there. I really miss Brian for those sorts of things, seriously. There you go. Wow, it's pretty massive. Ooh, looks great. It was actually really delicious. They're always very, very good. Burger. It's like weird. You sometimes just feel like you hear someone calling your name. And often I do, because people know me. You can't actually walk on this road. We did a video on this road like about 5 years ago, Brian and he went into that hardware store. So familiar always. This was Brian's hairdresser. He's great. So if you're following along for taking the bus from La Croisette back to the Montreal Trail Beach area, come down to the church. The bus stop is directly opposite. And just ask them, because not all of them here will go to Montreal Trail Beach. Thanks for joining me on this little life update. I'll let you guys know when I've eventually got a bank account. I'll put a link and you can deposit money. Just kidding, I've already got to buy me a coffee link, which people do send me money on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks for joining me on the life update, and I'll see you next week. Put comments of what you want to know about.